Hi, good day. My name is TemiTayo Ayodele, an HR professional. And today, InStride Youth Foundation Initiative has asked me to speak on one of the Sustainable Development Goals at their 30-day Career Boost initiative. So without wasting much time, I would like to go into my slide. But I would like to say to pardon me, just in case you are hearing a little bit of sound, background sound. Thank you very much. So I'll just go into my slide right now. Okay, once again, my name is TemiTayo Ayodele, and I have been asked by InStride Pathways Youth Foundation to talk about sustainable development goals. And interestingly, for me as an HR professional, I am more aligned to Sustainable Development Goal 8, which we would go into. Just a little bit of background information about me. So I am an HR professional with over 5 years experience, and I have worked in industries like agro trading, consulting, healthcare, First Nations organization here in Canada. And to add to that, I have a diploma and post-diploma in human resource management, both in Nigeria and in Canada. And my bachelor's degree was in English and Literary Studies, but after then I transitioned into the HR field. And I am also a candidate member of CPHR, BC, and Yukon here in Canada, a registered professional recruiter here in Canada as well, and an associate member of CiAY in Nigeria. To add to that, I am the co-founder of Primary Consulting. Primary Consulting is an HR firm that deals with personal branding for professionals, as well as helping with graduate school applications and also recruiting for small organizations. Now, I'm sure some of you may be familiar with the Sustainable Development Goals, but just a little bit of background about the Sustainable Development Goals. So it was brought into light by the United Nations, and some head of states and government representatives came up with the Sustainable Development Goals from 2015 to 2030 during the 70th anniversary of the organization at the headquarters in New York. And at that meeting, they decided that they would come up with new global sustainable development goals, which is what we have today. So you can just do a Google search of Sustainable Development Goals, and you will see the 17 goals as well as 169 targets. And hopefully, the United Nations is looking to achieve all of those goals come 2030. Now, I told you earlier that the Sustainable Development Goal that I'm more aligned to is decent work and economic growth. So the aim of this, and this is SDG 8, the aim of this is to provide sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. According to a UN article, the global unemployment rate declined significantly in 2022, falling to 5.4% from a peak of 6.6% in 2020, as economies began recovering from the shock of the COVID-19 pandemic. So what this means is that this is relatively lower than what we have, is relatively higher than the unemployment rate than what we had before COVID-19. We also saw how COVID-19 disrupted the economy, and then it brought the world to a halt, and people had to come up with ways, and you had to learn new technologies to ensure that your business keeps running. Because if you couldn't keep up with technology at that time, some organizations shut down because of this, and some are still trying to recover post pandemic. Now, sustainable development goals, goal 8, decent work and economic growth. What does decent work mean to you? So basically, from my side, decent work is what it simply means: creating decent opportunities for everyone, that is productive, fair, and offer social protection, better prospects for personal development and social integration. So essentially, how can we create decent work for individuals in the nation? How can we create decent work globally? Because there are a lot of things that rest on this. How can we achieve economies of scale from this? So I'll just move into my next slide before I explain my next thought. So where are we in 2024 for this goal? Because 2030 is 6 years from now. So are we close to achieving our target? Are we falling behind? Now, in 2024, the SCG report shows that nearly half of the 17 targets are showing minimal or moderate progress, while over 1/3 are stalled or going in reverse. So now this shows that we are far from achieving the sustainable development goals. But I cannot tell you for a fact that we would be able to achieve everything come 2030. But there should be significant progress if everybody sees this as a collective effort to ensure that these goals come to life and they are achieved. There are so many implications attached to this. One of the goals is like quality education. We can see, take Africa for example. We see that a lot of children, a lot of young people don't have quality education that makes them integrate properly into the society. Now, SDG 8 is very much aligned with SDG 4. Now, because we are trying to create decent work and employment opportunities for all, right? So what do they have at hand? What do they have at hand to ensure that they get the right opportunity, education, right, and the required skill, which is important to ensure that you get that job that you're looking for, to ensure that your business skills beyond a certain limit. So all of this rests on having the right education, the right training, as well as the right skills for this. So now it brings me to the question, how do we promote decent work if we are going to achieve this goal? I feel like a lot of enlightenment needs to be done around achieving these goals. So I would first like to say that you should find the one that you are properly aligned with and see how you can make an impact to ensure that this goal is achieved come 2030. Now, how can we promote decent work? I'm going to be speaking from 3 different perspectives. Perspective 1, the government. 2 is employer, and 3, employees. So it is a collective effort within the society. So as much as employers want to do, we should make sure that government policies are not standing in the way. And as much as employees want to do, we should make sure that employers are not making terrible policies or are not sending people out of the workforce for wrong reasons or wrongful terminations whatsoever. And they are pushing people to leave their decent employment, so to say. So from the perspective of the government, I have promoting skills development and training, and providing grants that citizens can access. So this is very important because there are countries around the world, and there are also some, Nigeria also has some, for example, some skill development opportunities whereby people can go and learn a skill. They can go and learn a trade. For example, say the industrial training fund, industrial training funds. This is an opportunity for employees. That if the employers are remitting this money to the organization, this is an opportunity for employees to go to ITF and take training that they have available for people to take. And also technical schools, I've seen that quite there are some effort have been made by the government, and even beyond the government and looking at other countries, you need to promote skill development and training, and by creating opportunities and access to ensuring that people have the opportunity to learn the right skills, so to say, then providing grants that citizens can access. So we would agree that in Africa and Nigeria, education is not cheap. So how can people ensure that they have quality education to then get the right training, the right skills, the right education that they need to land a better job and to help them in future? So the government can provide grants to citizens or provide education loans to the citizens of the nation to ensure that the citizens have access to these grants, to these loans, to ensure that they can better themselves and have this available and ensure that the interest is not so much is not cutthroat, so to say. Then we have creating policies that aid decent work. So technically, you would agree with me again that majority of the workforce are under are employed by business owners. There aren't so much people who are employed by the government in Nigeria. So how can the government aid this? So what the government can do is that ensuring that there are policies in place that helps business owners to ensure that they stay in business, so that in turn, and to ensure that they stay in business and to ensure that they don't run at a loss, so that in turn they can hire qualified people, and they can also pay a decent wage to their employees. And lastly, we have creating a thriving environment for businesses. Again, this rests on policies, because the environment has to be enabling for business owners to ensure that they are successful in whatever business that they are doing. Now, from the employer perspective, I have offering better compensation. Employers should try as much as possible to pay beyond the minimum wage and to try to pay a decent living wage that you know that a regular person can live on this amount, not just pay minimum wage because this is the minimum wage and this is what I can afford, right? So employers should try as much as possible. Like I always tell people, if employers do things that, okay, if someone comes to the organization, if someone comes to your organization to be interviewed, and you ask the person what's your salary expectation, and then they mention a lower amount, be a decent employer and offer what you have as the compensation range, even if it is higher. Let them know that, okay, what you ask for is lower, but we will be paying you this amount, which is a decent amount to pay anybody in that position. Then promoting safe and respectful work environments. Ensure that the environment is free of toxicity. And how can you do this? You can do this by ensuring that you regularly train your employees on cultural safety, on being respectful to their colleagues, promoting policies that ensures that the workplace is safe for other employees, ensuring that you have bullying and harassment policies in place to show that you are zero tolerant of bullying and harassment, and everyone can thrive in the workplace. Respecting labor laws and workers' rights. So I've seen employers do this often. Employers do not respect labor laws. They constantly go against it. And why is this like this? Because the government that is meant to hold them accountable is not doing so. The government, if government tells an organization, oh, we are coming to inspect your organization, you find out that some of those organizations do not have the right things in place, and then they try to lobby to ensure that, oh, how can we bypass this? So you find out that some of them are lobbying, and then they are paying out money to the government instead of government to serve as checks and balances for these companies to ensure that they do the right thing, and to also respect workers' rights. So employers rather should ensure that the policies that they have in place is aligned with the labor laws of the countries that they are in, and to ensure that you continue to uphold workers' rights, because every party in the workplace has rights. You as an employer, you have rights. You as an employee, you have rights. You only have to know your rights, and employees should be able to trust that they can exercise their rights in any organization without being bullied out of employment. I have creating an inclusive culture. Again, you have to look at the variances in the employees that you hire and know that everyone is not the same. People come from different backgrounds. In different countries, we have different groups of people. There are men, there are women in the workforce. There are people of different gender, different race, different culture. So ensure that you have and you are fostering an inclusive culture whereby everybody feels like they belong to the organization. And finally, providing training opportunities for employees. This would help employees feel a sense of belonging, feel a sense of commitment, just feel a sense of personal development. So organizations should not just recruit people and then let them go and do the job, but from time to time provide training opportunities that ensures that they are successful in the organization, and in turn successful and useful people in the society. And now from the third point, that's from the employee view. How can we promote decent work? We have respecting colleagues' opinions. I talked about this. So if you have done training on respectful workplace, you have policies in place. That's as an employer, you have policies in place and all. And employees go through this and all, and they know the repercussions and they know the things that are at stake. So it's going to be easy for employees to respect other people's opinions, to respect their colleagues' opinion. Then taking personal development seriously. Now, as an employee, you cannot afford to put all of your growth, your personal development in the hands of an employer. If an employer doesn't see the need to offer training to you or something, you cannot remain stagnant, but constantly try to look for ways that you can grow beyond your organization, and how you can be impactful to the society. Then finally, upholding labor laws and employment right and employers' rights. So like I said, this goes both ways. As an employee, how can you uphold employers' rights? Ensure that the laws, the policies that are in place, you read it and you follow it. Ensure that you're not stealing out of your employer's time. There are a whole lot of other things. Ensure that you are a good employee, so to say. So that wraps it up from three perspectives. That's from the government, the employer, and the employee, on how we can promote decent work. So in conclusion, building the Sustainable Development Goal is a collective effort for everyone in the society. Finding the one that you are best aligned with will make you streamline how you can contribute your quota to fostering it. Like I said, this is a collective effort. Whether we would achieve the Sustainable Development Goals come 2030, whether we would achieve all of it, sincerely, I don't know, and I cannot promise you this, but then just ensure that we contribute our quota to ensuring that we try as much as possible to fulfill these goals. So How can you promote decent work again? Ensure that wherever you are, whatever you do, ensure that you are working actively and positively towards ensuring that this goal is achieved, not by going against it. So one of the ways in the past that I've tried to contribute my own quota is, from time to time, I offer like training to people, and this would be like on employability skills, how to be an employable person. So you know that in essence, if you are empowering yourself to be employable, then you are paving the way to having a decent employment. And from there, you are paving the way to end poverty for you as well as your family. It goes on and on. And all of these goals are tied to each other. If you look at it in depth, all of them are tied to each other. So you just have to ensure, find the one that you are aligned with, see how you can make a positive impact. Even from time to time, I post like jobs on my social accounts, genuine jobs, of course. I post it on my social accounts, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. I post those jobs to ensure that it reaches the right candidate. But one thing I also actively do is, me as a person, I decided that any job posting that I'm going to post, I'm going to ensure that this posting, at some point in time, I ensure that this posting will not be less than 100,000 naira. That's for a posting that I do in Nigeria. That's in salary, 100,000 naira in salary. Because if I'm trying to promote decent work, then I see no reason why I should be posting a job that is offering 20,000 a month to somebody. That is not decent work. You would agree with me that that is not decent work. But rather, I decided that I would post something that's okay. Can anybody live decently on this amount? That was back then, but we all know how the country, that's Nigeria, is right now. So at every point in time, I believe I'm speaking to youths, and I'm speaking to young graduates today. At every point in time that you find yourself, ensure that you are doing something to develop yourself and to make sure that you are employable in future. Now, when I was in school, as in my undergraduate days, I did not really know some of these things. So the times that I wasted playing and all, if I'd been using it to learn a skill, or if I'd been using it to say, okay, this is the line that I want to go to in future, let me start learning towards it, how I can be like a better person to work in that field. Look for volunteer opportunities, look for internship opportunities. You know, not everything is money. At the start of your career, you may not necessarily earn the amount that you want to earn, what you desire. But you agree with me that through volunteering in organizations, probably find the ones that you have interest in, write them down. In organizations, if you volunteer in organizations, you gain experience. And you don't just gain experience, you have this on your resume. And from there, whoever you worked with, that is your boss, can even write a reference for you in future, or they can connect you to a decent job in future. So you never know. Not one of the trainings that I've taken at some point in my life, even though at that point I didn't need it, but I realized that in finding a job, like in future, I realized that some of the trainings that I have done in the past made me get the job that I was applying to. So try as much as possible to constantly develop yourself. And once again, you can go on the United Nations website, or you can do a simple Google search of Sustainable Development Goals, and you will see the 17 goals, which they are aligned to ensuring that the people are better, and prosperity, a better environment, and so on. So thank you very much, InStride Youth Initiative. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you have any further questions, you can shoot me a message on LinkedIn, and just let me know that okay, you attended the 30-day career boost initiative program, when introducing yourself, and then your question, so that I can respond, because I get a lot of messages from people from time to time. As an HR professional, people are looking for opportunities. So in order to make me respond to you faster, please just put a note on where you know me from. That would help me navigate and know how to relate with you. Thank you very much once again. I hope that you can take this lecture, this